At the beginning, the story introduced a high school boy named Rikuo. He owned a robot named Sammy, a female android who carried out household tasks for him. Rikuo did not show much love or interest toward her, but he did not hate her either. He spoke to her with a basic level of respect. On the other side was his friend, Masaki, who was also a student. Masaki didn't exactly hate robots, but he didn't like them either. In short, the two friends had opposite points of view about robots, yet they remained best friends. One day at school, Rikuo was checking his robot Sammy's activity log. He noticed something unusual. Sammy had gone to a location where she wasn't supposed to go without being given any order. Robots were not meant to act without their master's command, so this behavior shocked him. The thought immediately struck him. Could robots secretly be plotting against humans? To uncover the truth, Rikuo and Masaki decided to investigate where Sammy had gone. Following the trail, they ended up in a deserted alley. At first, they were scared to enter. But when they finally gathered courage and went inside, they sighed with relief. What they found was not a secret laboratory or a hideout, but simply a coffee shop. Yet the cafe carried one strange rule. Inside, no one was allowed to reveal whether they were human or robot. Outside, robots were marked with glowing indicators, red or green rings, that made their identity clear. But inside this cafe, these indicators had to be hidden. At first, Rikuo and Masaki found the rules strange. They looked around, trying to guess who was human and who was robot. During their investigation, a young girl entered the cafe. She was cheerful and lively, and the boys immediately grew curious. They wondered if she was human or robot. They could not ask directly because of the cafe's rules, so they tried to talk around the subject and asked her questions indirectly. The girl eventually explained her reason for being there. She said that she came to the cafe because it was a place where humans and robots could talk freely, without judgment. Outside, society divided the two groups, treating robots only as servants. But in this cafe, everyone could open their hearts, share their feelings, and treat each other like equals. She admitted that she enjoyed coming there because here she did not feel pressured to act in a certain way, nor did she have to reveal her identity. For Rikuo and Masaki, this was hard to understand. They had never seen robots and humans interacting as equals before. The next day at school, they kept discussing the meaning of what the girl had said. Was it even legal for robots to behave like humans? Could robots really have feelings? The following day, they ran into the same girl, Akiko. They were about to greet her when the truth came out. Akiko herself was a robot. The revelation shocked them. Just a day earlier, she had blended so well among humans in the cafe that they had no clue about her identity. The cafe's purpose became clearer to them. It was a space designed so that humans and robots could interact without hierarchy, labels, or discrimination. Seeing this affected Rikuo deeply. He began to question whether he was treating his own robot Sammy wrongly. Wanting to explore further, Rikuo and Masaki returned to the cafe. Again, Akiko met them and talked with Rikuo. She confided that when she was outside in the real world, she had to play different roles, but in the cafe, she could relax and be herself, sharing her feelings without fear of being judged as robot. One day, while drinking coffee in the cafe, Rikuo noticed Sammy sitting there as well. She didn't look like a robot at that moment. She looked like a beautiful young woman. Rikuo tried to confront her, but Sammy somehow ran away. Nagi, who was in charge of the cafe, explained to him that Sammy came to the cafe to learn coffee making because her master loved coffee. She wanted to improve at it for his sake. From this point onward, the story revealed Sammy's perspective. Sammy wasn't just performing mechanical duties. She was trying to impress Rikuo, learning coffee brewing, buying nicer clothes, styling her hair, even wearing hair accessories. She tried to appear more attractive. She wanted to make him happy. Inside Rikuo's mind, a storm of questions began. Sammy was doing all this effort just for him. Why would a robot care so much? Meanwhile, the story at the cafe continued with other visitors. Rikuo and Masaki witnessed a couple's conflict unfold when Satoru's private photos were accidentally displayed. The situation revealed another truth, that some robots were not just companions, but more than that. Rina explained how she had once taken a bullet to protect her master, and now carried those scars, while Satoru admitted being used by her master in private ways. These revelations shocked the boys, especially Masaki, who found it disturbing. But for Rikuo, these experiences opened his eyes further. He realized it was indeed possible for robots to love humans, and for humans to share feelings with robots. Slowly, his own view of Sammy changed. He no longer thought of her only as a machine. He began to see her as something more. The next day, Rikuo once again went to the cafe with Masaki. Inside the cafe, they encountered a robot unlike the others. This one was from the earliest stage of android development in Japan. Its body was badly damaged, parts were malfunctioning, and it could barely function. It sat in front of them, trembling. It was not advanced like the others, and its communication was broken. But Rikuo and Masaki understood something important from its words. This robot had once been a guardian for a child. It had raised and protected the child, but when the child grew up, he no longer needed it. Instead of returning it to the department for repairs or retirement, the child destroyed it. He broke its body, damaged its parts, and erased its memory card so that no trace of their bond would remain. The robot's only memory left was that it had once served someone with devotion, and in the cafe, it broke down completely, its life coming to an end. This incident left a deep mark on Rikuo's heart. He realized how cruel humans could be, using robots for their own needs, only to discard them when they were no longer useful. Meanwhile, Sammy's feelings for Rikuo kept growing. She noticed he was upset and remembered that Rikuo had loved playing piano since childhood. To cheer him up, she secretly began learning piano so she could play his favorite melodies. This was her way of showing love. However, Masaki did not share this perspective. He grew more hostile toward robots, insisting that they were only tools and should be treated as such. This difference in opinions led to arguments between the two friends. Rikuo argued that robots should be treated kindly, while Masaki dismissed the idea, saying robots had no real feelings. Their strong disagreement even strained their friendship. Rikuo, burdened by inner conflict, returned once again to the cafe. His thoughts were torn. On one side, Sammy was making every effort to impress him. On the other side, his best friend Masaki had turned against him. While sitting there, lost in thought, he suddenly heard a familiar piano melody. It was the same composition he had once played in his childhood. Curious, he followed the sound. To his surprise, Sammy was at the piano, playing the very song he had composed long ago. She had learned it overnight, just to make him happy. Seeing this, Rikuo's emotions overwhelmed him. Memories from his past resurfaced, blending with his present feelings. He realized he could no longer deny the truth. He could not express it in words, but his heart made it clear. Sammy understood through the music that Rikuo now respected and returned her feelings. It seemed like a happy ending, but trouble was approaching. The Japanese authorities had discovered that a cafe existed where robots behaved like humans. The government decided to take action. Robots who crossed these limits would be captured and reset. For this mission, they deployed enforcement robots designed to track down such androids and shut them down. The leader of this enforcement team was none other than Masaki's father. The story then revealed Masaki's childhood past. He too had once owned a robot named Tex. He loved dearly as a child. That robot had been his only companion after his parents divorced. But one day, Tex was going to reveal Masaki's father's fault, which led to Masaki's parents' divorce. Realizing this, Masaki's father ordered Tex never to speak to him again. From that day, Masaki grew up with hatred in his heart, believing the robot had abandoned him. Later, Masaki discovered that his childhood robot had gone missing. Around the same time, he received a call from Rikuo. Rikuo told him that an old robot was in the cafe, causing a commotion, telling everyone to leave. Masaki rushed there, angry and confused. He confronted the Tex, demanding to know why it had suddenly appeared after years of silence. He accused it of never caring for him when he needed it most. Suddenly, the Japanese enforcement robot arrived. Tex finally broke its silence and started alerting everyone of the danger. It was clear that the enforcement robot was actually sent to reset androids. Realizing this, Masaki jumped at the enforcement robot, not letting him leave, but it somehow managed to escape. Then Tex confessed the truth to Masaki, that it had always cared for him, even when it could not show it. After saying this, it obeyed its orders, becoming silent once more. Masaki, deeply moved, finally understood the truth. All the anger he had carried for years had been misplaced. Tex had feelings, it had shared his pain, but circumstances had forced it into silence. Realizing this, Masaki decided to take Tex with him, vowing never to forget it again. Meanwhile, Rikuo quietly admitted in his heart that he truly had feelings for Sammy. Sammy overheard this, and for her, it was enough. His acceptance meant everything. This is where this story ends. Please like and subscribe.